Hello and welcome. Welcome to Freedom in Lockdown, a series of conversations with me, Tauseeq Haider. And this is brought to you by Traditional Foundation Pakistan, FNF Pakistan. Interesting conversations I'm looking forward to, but this one in particular. This is my friend whose name is Jami Chandio, who is an intellectual, he's a writer, he's an activist, he's an author of 26 books. He's such a pleasant personality, and always I seek guidance from him. And there's always something to take back home whenever I meet him, whenever I talk to him, whenever I listen to him. There is always a learning point, a learning curve in that conversation. Jami Saab is one person who is associated with FNF since many, many years. FNF has a long bonding relationship, friendship with Jami Chandio. And I'm so very happy that he took out time tonight for this session. Jami Chandio Saab, Dr. Saab, Surgeon of Society. I will explain it later. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Tauseeq. I'm glad to see you here. I'm glad to be with you.
The feeling is mutual. And why I said Surgeon of Society, because people like Jami are actual doctor surgeons of society, because they intellectually, emotionally, academically do surgeries of society. Jami, how do you like that introduction?
I think, Tauseeq, I'm thankful to you for your kind words. And you are right that this is the basic job of any critical mind, to do socio-political and cognitive and emotional and social and economic and from various perspectives, surgery of society. So I think for any society and for the development of any society, it's a prerequisite to produce quality analysis and to have critical analysis for the dynamics of complexities that we see in society. So you're right that it's not me only, but every critical thinking person happens to be a kind of a surgeon in society. So
absolutely.
I'm glad that,
absolutely. Yeah. Tell me about your interaction with the foundation. How did that happen? And how has that relationship been so far?
Tauseeq, I always feel that FNF is like our second home. And same goes to you with as well.
Yes, indeed.
And with many friends, it's like our second home. And if I look back at the long time association with this think tank, it reminds me back that it was, I guess it was in 1999 when my friend and our mutual friend, Zafarullah Khan, when he was back from the LSE after getting done his master's, and then he joined FNF, and our great friend Arno Keller was the head of the FNF at that time in Pakistan. So I guess my affiliation or association with FNF started with the workshop that was conducted by my friend Zafarullah Khan in Karachi. And I think it was his first ever activity that he had organized. And luckily, we were lucky enough that we had Zamir Niazi Saab with us in that workshop as well.
Wow.
And there are many common friends, Adnan Rahmat, I can recall, and Nadeem Iqbal and Nazir Laghari Saab and Fawzia Shaheen. I met her first time in that workshop. So it was basically the media workshop. And I was, at that time, I was in charge editor of a daily Sindhi newspaper that was Daily Ibra. So this is how I came into contact with FNF, and then the journey, a long journey of association and meaningful interaction started in 1999, and that continues till today, and I hope that will continue in future as well. And during these last, if I recall my engagements during these last 22 years. It's a long journey of association. I was lucky that FNF sent me to their academy in Gummersbach and IAF Academy. I joined in a course in that academy back in 2001. And let me tell you one very interesting story and outcome of that
Yeah, please do. Please do.
exposure.
Yeah.
That you know that there is a center for peace and civil society that works in the province of Sindh mainly, but that also works in the other provinces. Basically, the inspiration came out with the engagement at IAF during that training.
All right. Interesting.
So when because before going to IAF, I was in England in another think tank that was Wilton Park, that is based in Brighton. And after having a wonderful experience at Wilton Park, then when I went to Gummersbach, and the ambience, the intellectual environment, and the kind of liberal space that we had for open dialogue and discussions, I decided during that time that when I'll be back to Pakistan, I would like to lay the foundation of a think tank, and I discussed that idea with my friends Abdullah Khan. And this is how the journey of CPCS also started. So I can proudly say that even our think tank CPCS was an outcome of my interaction with FNF and IAF. And this long journey continues.
I'm happy that you shared that. And I'm sure that our friends in Potsdam and Gummersbach listening to this will be very happy and proud of the moment that people like you who have been to Gummersbach, went back to Pakistan or their whatever country they belong to, and now are contributing back to their society. Jami, do you miss those active journalism days as a young journalist? Do you miss those?
Tauseeq, my professional association with the field of journalism is also very interesting. And though I did work a full-time journalist only for a very short time, that was my 5-year engagement with Daily Ibrat when I was in charge editor. But as a columnist and as a newspaper writer, I started my career back in 1987. And you'll be glad to know that I started writing in Urdu before I started writing in Sindhi.
Really?
I used to write for Daily Jang. And I was the regular writer in a weekly that was the mainstream Urdu weekly of that time, that was Haftaroza Mayar. And Mahmood Sham Saab was editor, and I was the columnist in that magazine. It was back in 1987, so almost 34 years back. And then I continued that writing in Sindhi dailies and Lelale Pakistan, and then Awami Awaz and Jago and many newspapers, and then in fact, my association columnist continues since last almost 34 years. I did work only for 5 years, and that was my time as an editor of Daily Ibrat. But I often appear on TV, and I often I give talks on various TV channels, especially in election transmissions. So in a way, my association continues.
Of course. Okay, Jami, tell me, what would you like to change about it? Did you want to be what you are today? Did you want it to be an activist, a columnist, an author or writer? Or did you want to be, I don't know, a chef or a flyer, an engineer or whatever?
Tauseeq, being an old friend, you know me very well, and that basically I'm a writer, and writing and reading is my passion. And I was lucky enough that I was born and I was grown up in a very literate family, and in an environment where I saw only books. And my father, late professor, he was also professor of Persian literature. He was a poet. He was man of letters, and above all, I I can probably say that I was among the very few children of Pakistan who had grown up in a very progressive family. My family was highly progressive, and so in a conservative family like ours, um, 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 this affiliation is really a matter of pride for me. So my inspiration for the literature and for the writing and reading started from very young age, and I started writing short stories. I used to write poems, poetry, and then I used to write essays and small write-ups in prose. So coming to your question, that what I am today, yes, I wish to be a writer, which is my basic identity now. But since I strongly believe that if a writer does not stand for justice, if a writer does not become active part of the political vibrancy of society, then there's a question mark on the conscience of that writer. So I'm basically a writer, but I can proudly say that I've always been an activist because in our society, in our state, in our governments, we see a lot of injustice around. So I think we cannot make line of demarcation between the two disciplines. So it is right. It is a basic duty of a writer to also be an activist.
Jami, tell me, there's a big debate these days in societies like Pakistan with people like us that we are losing in the number of readers. There are no more readers for books. What is your take on that? Do you think there are less readers now with time?
Tauseeq, this is a common feeling in society that we come across everywhere, that people often feel that now the reading habit is dying. But my experience is quite different.
Okay.
Because I travel a lot, and when I see the young generation, I see the generation of my children, and when I interact with youth of today's society, it gives me inspiration that I think this is a wrong impression that the younger generation is not into the reading.
Oh, great.
For example, if you visit the bookshops, and if you go to the libraries, if you look at the meaningful activism being done and exhibited by the young generation, I think the demography might have changed. The senior people or the senior activists may not be reading that much as we had been witnessing. But when it comes to the younger generation, I strongly believe that they are more dynamic and creative than our generation. So I don't have any pessimism regarding the epistemological journey of society. I strongly believe that demography is changing, and that's an organic fact. But the passion for the knowledge and the quantitative aspect of the seekers of knowledge is not lessening. So I'm very much hopeful.
Jami sir, tell me, how about rewinding your life or reinventing yourself? What change would you like to see in Jami Chandio if you're given a chance, as a person, your habits, your traits, what life brought to you? What would you like to change about what you have been going through in your life?
That's a very interesting and also difficult question, Tauseeq. You know that I am a person who I don't live with regrets, because I chose the life that I do live. So the kind of life that I live is my chosen life, and I also feel very much lucky that I'm a highly liberated person. Nobody can compel me what to do which I'm not going to do. And nobody else in this globe, in this whole society, in the state, can compel me not to do which I would intend to do. So in a way, I have lived a very free life. I am a person who know that I am not a religious person, and in this society, I have lived life without any dogmas, and I have lived a life of my virtues, my own values and principles, my own choices. So first, the first part of your question is that I don't have regrets about my life, which I am uh, passing through. Secondly, yes, there is always a room for more fulfillment of our dreams, and there's always a space to for more positive sense, for more materializing the ambitions. So if I would have more chance in my life, I guess I would be more interested in seeking knowledge, writing more, and becoming more active part of resistance in society. So in totality, I will just enhance the scale of what I'm doing today. But I'm not going to acquire. Maybe I'll be having more travels in my life, but the kind of life that I'm having is my chosen life.
That's a very beautiful. Maybe if you write your biography, Jami, uh, your autobiography,
Yeah.
if you write about your life and yourself, I would like to recommend the name of that book, and that is My
Tell
Chosen Life.
me.
My Chosen Life.
Yes, yes, yeah. And I think, Tauseeq, I strongly believe that the kind of goodness that you can do to yourself or anyone, I think that is to liberate yourself from all kinds of dogmas and all kinds of formal bindings or compulsions. I always love to have life of inquiry, life of struggle, life of creativity, life of critical thinking. So I personally, that's why I did not do a job in my life, despite having many opportunities in life. I
I
never
know.
like you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So so
We are very blessed people, by the way. Yeah.
so life without struggle, life without innovations, life without creativity and dynamism and critical thinking is a tasteless life. So and in fact, when you choose a life of your own choice, then one has to suffer a lot as well. It's not only luxury.
I know.
It's not only luxury or a kind of safe haven. One has to suffer a lot as well, and that we have.
Absolutely. It's not, it sounds like a beautiful journey, but it's a very turbulent flight as well at the same time. Uh,
It has its own challenges. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember while Jami was telling you all of this, his approach towards life, I was remembering my travels with Jami Chandio. We became friends when we traveled to Germany together, obviously thanks to FNF, because they were contributing, they were investing in our intellectual growth at that time. And then I remember, Jami, do you remember our travel to Afghanistan in 2004 to Kabul and those
That was an adventure.
adventure going
I
in those
would
times?
say.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay,
But
Jami,
but but that adventure was transformed into a great exposure and experience. Yeah. When Arno was with us, when Zafrullah Khan and Fawzia and many friends were together, I think that was really a wonderful journey. Yeah.
absolutely. I think that was the time when you and I became very close friends during those 5 days. Jami,
Yeah.
are you okay? Let me come to my question, which I have thought of to ask every guest in this series of conversations. And that question is that if you're given a magic wand, Jami Chandio, you have a magic and you want to change one thing in this country, Pakistan, what would you like to change with that magic wand?
I would like to transform this undemocratic kind of non-secular polity and conservative society into a genuine egalitarian democracy and into a genuine secular society where everybody could feel safe despite their belief and despite their all belongings. So if I would be having any kind of hypothetical chance that you're offering, I would like to see this country a genuine secular democratic federation.
Jami, are you hopeful with the coming generation? Do you think we are leaving this country in better hands?
Tauseeq, the answer cannot be very much simple because we are living in the so-called postmodern era. And this postmodern era, whether we can feel it or not, whether we are aware about this or not, but it has also brought a lot of challenges to society. And our younger generation is grown up in this environment. So there are challenges of all kinds, but in totality, when I look at this younger generation, I think they are in some respect, they are in a better position in terms of, for example, they don't have kind of hangovers that our generation had faced.
True.
And so they are out of those hangovers, and secondly, they have less biases as compared to our generation. Thirdly, they have more spaces than our generation, if we recall our generation's spaces. So I think in totality, every generation has kind of their own opportunities. They have their own kind of risk and their challenges. But in totality, I strongly believe that I'm hopeful. Yes, I'm optimist. That I think this generation we will witness that this generation will genuinely compel our state and society to change, because they are less into rhetoric and they are more into the organic realities. And so I think this generation is more realistic, more dynamic, they are more open, and with less hangovers, and they are not more into the past syndromes. They are thinking about future. So I think in comparison to our generation, this generation is relatively doing good. But one thing is a challenge, and that is that this generation, because of the political and economic situation in the country, the majority of them would like to fly, to leave this country. I think this brain drain is a great challenge.
Yeah.
But as a generation, I'm very hopeful to them. Yeah. So now it's up to us that how we can create an environment where this generation could really develop an organic connection or a bond of love and affiliation or commitment with the society. Yeah.
Jami, thank you very much. It was really a pleasure to talk to you. And on behalf of Frederick Truman Foundation Pakistan, and of course on my personal behalf, thank you.
I'm thankful to Anwar Saab, you, Dr. Brigid Lam, and FNF as a whole, that they always come up with innovative ideas, and they always develop spaces for meaningful engagement. And I'm hopeful that after getting done this whole series of conversations with the galaxy of friends, I think we'll be having more ideas and more quality analysis on our table. So once again, I'm thankful to you and FNF and Anwar Saab and Dr. Brigid Lam.
Thank you very much. Actually, this was the idea, Jami, because in this lockdown situation, as a liberal, as a person of freedom, I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, we are in a lockdown. Where is our freedom? I'm a free person. And that is where the idea came from. And let's create some freedom in lockdown.
When the external spaces are narrowed down, then we should open up the inner spaces.
Inner spaces.
And inner spaces are more, open and, are more neutral and more creative. So I think it's a good idea to start this endeavor. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. All the best, Jami, for your freedom of speech and your freedom of thought and freedom of intellect, because we are proud of you, and we need people like you in society. Thank you very much, Jami. Goodbye. And thank you all for watching us. This is a series called Freedom in Lockdown, brought to you by Federal Foundation Pakistan. It's a German liberal foundation, and I and people like Jami have been part of the fraternity for years and years, more than 20 years. This speaks of our age, but try to know more about the liberal values, the liberal solutions to a country like Pakistan. Google this word, try to learn more about it, and give your comments down in the comment section, and share this conversation if you like. And don't forget to watch us every night during this lockdown time, 9 p.m. Pakistan. Take care. Goodbye.